Hello, YouTube friends. Earlier I was on and I had so many disruptions. I started to tape my wreath form that I'm making for a giveaway. And I had this ribbon from last year that my daughter gave me. It's like a sparkly, sheer, stiff ribbon, which I'm not crazy about. But for what I wanted for, it's fine. But I didn't want to bore you to death until I figure out how to stop and start the tape and make it one long video. I don't want to bore you to death with the details of what I'm doing, but I want you to understand how I do it. I'm sure if you ever watch videos, so many crafters, you've seen this, but just in case. I took the ribbon, and because it's a very stiff ribbon, I cut a strip of it off because you've got to weave it around and around and around the wreath form so that you go. In fact, I ended up cutting like 2 strips, so I didn't have to put the whole thing of I'm having a brain freeze, so you wouldn't have to have the whole tube of ribbon going in and out weaving. It's just a pain in the neck, the ribbon around the wreath form. So we have that all done, and I think it's really pretty. It doesn't look great on its own, but it turned out okay. And I have my glue gun on. So let's try this again for the 3rd time. Here is the wreath form, and this is a beautiful pick that I bought with a little white pumpkin. I love the white pumpkin, and some little berries and flowers, leaves. And I thought, since you always want to find the top of your wreath form, and I always choose the one that has the most imperfections, so I think I'm going to put it here because I have double tape here. And I love this, so I decided I am going to put it as so around the top of the wreath. Like I said, we're going to work on this together because I have not made any decisions on it until now. So what I'm going to do, if you can see this, in fact, I'm going to put you up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. I've decided that I'm going to tie some, this is going to go to the winner of the 100 subscriber contest that I'm going to have. I am going to wire this on with some floral wire that I have. I have a thinner wire and I have a thicker. I'm going to use the thicker wire to make sure it stays on good. So like I said, I haven't made any plans on this. I'm going off my feelings right now, right here, and this is how I operate all the time. I do decide what colors I'm going to put into it, or that'll look good, or maybe this, but I'll pick out 2-3 ribbons or 2 different sizes of wreath forms, or you can get the foam wreath form, which I have, and it's great to work with. You can get the twig wreath form, which is beautiful, but they're a little more expensive. And then you can get the wired wreath form, which is a little more difficult to work with because usually you have to use like ribbon or burlap. Burlap is beautiful. So I usually use burlap, and there's a technique to that. But you can still use burlap on this here foam wreath form. You can do that. All right, so we're going to wire this on here the best that we can and try to hide it. So what I do, I put it on there and I twist as tight as I can. I'm just going to twist and really pull it as tight as you possibly can. Sometimes I hot glue, but because this has a really long stem, I decided to use the wire because I don't want to cut the stem. bring this around, wire it, and then I'm going to tighten it again. So this is just a matter of eyeballing it to see where you want things to go. And then you twist the wire into the wreath form, and you have something like this. Now I may put more wire on that to have it stabilized more, but for now we're going to leave it like that. And I think what I'm going to do is put a really pretty ribbon, and I think I know which one I'm going to use. It's a really beautiful ribbon up here. This is going to be off to the side. And now we're going to work in here and decide what we're going to do. So I'll show you what I have. And I wish you were here so you can help me decide. I have these, I think I showed you these one other time. These berries. I think I'm going to use these orange and lime green berries. And we'll save these for another wreath. So we're going to put them somewhere on this wreath. I'm looking at my time. Now I don't have the best wires for cutting. That's why I ended up using the wire to wrap, but I'm going to give this a shot. I have to get some better wire cutters. All right, we got that cut, and it's all falling apart. And we'll cut this. I'm cutting it into like pieces because it's easier to work with. This is giving me a hard time. Okay. Got to get better wire cutters. There we go. Okay. We're going to put some of these berries. And one thing I've learned when doing my wreaths is to find a direction that you want to go with your wreath. For instance, I'm going to the right here. I don't know if that's your right or left, but so I'm going to keep going that way. This way. Now I have 2 pieces of berry here. I'm going to wrap some floral wire around it. We're going to wrap the wire. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. Like I said, I was a little sick over the weekend, but feeling a little bit better tonight. All right, now I want to kind of put this, let me put this down. These beads underneath the, like so. So we are going to, once again, get some floral wire. I don't know, I think what I'm going to try to do is hot glue it and see what happens. As I said, we're working on this together. I'm putting some hot glue, and let's see if that'll work. And I'll even lay the leaf on top of the berries to hide the floral wire. Let's see if this will work. If it doesn't, I'll just use the floral wire, and I think I'm going to have to regardless. All right, so yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to. All right, so we'll use the floral wire with the glue and see what happens. We're going underneath this leaf to hide. You always want to hide your imperfections. And that's easy to do with all the embellishments you put on your wreath. All right, I'm gonna tighten it up. Okay, and you can see where we're going with this. And you don't have to worry because we're gonna hide all that wire. I now have a couple more pieces I'm gonna put on in here. You know, making wreaths, it's fun, but it's work. It's work, but it's fun work. You know, I thoroughly enjoy it. Okay, it looks like that glue did it here, but to be safe, I'm going to put some floral wire. Kind of hard to work when. Okay. What I should have done is wrap these first. These little berries. Right, I'm going to wrap the two other beads or berries, whatever you want to call them. They look like beads, but they're berries, supposed to be berries. I'm going to wrap them and then place them near the other berries. I think they're really pretty colors. And we'll put them right here. As far as the wires, the floral wire in the back, don't worry. In the end, what I'll do is you can just twist it really tight and then cut it, whatever you're not using, the wire. Okay, we got a few extra beads. And it looks like this. Okay. And I will have to tighten all these up off camera, but for now, I want to show you where I'm going with this. Okay, now I really like to, let me talk to you a second. I really like to do different things on my wreaths. I like to be a little bit different. So instead of everything being on one side or the other or all the way around the wreath, I like to be a little different. I'm going to put my ribbon off center, and then down in here I'm going to have a few more decorations. What do you guys think? Down in this area, and then we'll be done. That's it. So I got these cute little picks with the cotton, the leaves, and the little pine cones, and it is really, it's a very thick pick. Believe me when I tell you. But I think it's going to be so pretty down here. So we got to take the price tag off. This one pick alone was $1.50. I got 50% off on it at AC Moore. But I'll be honest with you, it's going to be a giveaway. I bought 2 of them, 2 for $3. It's worth it because it's really going to make a difference in this wreath. And we definitely got to use the pick. So I have to figure out how we're going to put this on here. As I said, we got to go the same direction. So I'm going to lay it on its side, as so, and then I'm going to wrap a thicker wire. This is the thicker floral wire to get that baby on there. Looking at my time. I hope I'm not boring you to death with this. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to get better as time goes on, and I promise with anything, things get better the more you work at it. All right, I'm going to wire this on. I'm going to, after you wire it in the back, you're going to twist. twist tight because these are heavy floral picks. And you're going to tighten it. And in the end, I'm going to cut them all off, so don't worry about it. And I'll find a way to hide the imperfections of the wire. We'll find a way to hide it, so don't worry about that either. But I'll do all that off camera. Okay, so here we are. It's going to be like this, okay? I got that wired on pretty tight. I'll make sure I have hot glue it down to give it some little extra security. All right, and I think it's turning out beautiful already. All right, now, I'm not sure about any more beads because we have a lot going on, but I did want to put, see what you guys think, this little pumpkin. This was also $1.50. So this is a really well quality wreath, guys. Let me see what it would have to go this way. And I'm not really sure if we're going to use it or not. I might just add a few more beads. What do you guys think? Yes or no? Is it too much? I don't think so. I think we're going to go for it. All right, so we'll cut this off, the price tag. These were 50% off at AC Moore. And I'm going to take the pick itself and kind of roll it under, weave it under the cotton. If I can. I don't think that's going to work, but we'll do this somehow. Let me see. I really want to cut this. Wish I had a really good wire cutters here, but I don't at this time, but I will get some after this ordeal. All right, it's kind of falling apart. So, did me a favor. And I'm going to twist it because it looks like it wants to come apart. But I'm not going to let it. And I'm going to wire this on right there. And I will show you when I get it wired on. Make sure you have enough wire when you wrap it around, because if you don't, it's not going to be enough of a grip to keep the wire, to keep the picks on there. You really have to have a good, tight, strong wire. Right, so